The room was so quiet, I could hear the blood rushing in my ears. I stood with my back against the heavy oak door of the master bedroom, my breath catching in my throat like broken glass. Across the room, Salvatore Rossi, the man they called the Butcher of Chicago, was staring at me. But he wasn't looking at me like a boss looks at a maid. He was looking at me like a starving man looks at water. On the floor between us lay the shattered remains of his father's urn. The ash was scattered across the Persian rug like grey snow. I had destroyed the one thing he valued most. I knew the rules of this house. I knew what happened to people who disrespected the Rossi family. My hands were shaking so hard I had to clutch my apron. I looked at his hands, huge, scarred, covered in heavy gold rings that had broken jawbones in back alleys. "I know the price of disrespect," I whispered, my voice trembling. "Please, just make it fast." Sal didn't scream. He didn't call the guards. He just walked toward me, his dark eyes locking onto mine. The air in the room got hot, suffocating. He stopped inches from me. He smelled of expensive cologne and danger. Slowly, deliberately, he raised his hand to his mouth. He bit down on his gold pinky ring and pulled it off. Clink. It hit the floor, then the next one. Clink, and the next. He bared his teeth, not in a snarl, but in something raw and terrifyingly intimate. "You still look at me and see a child, Elena," he rumbled, his voice vibrating through my chest. He reached out, his bare, callous thumbs tracing the wrinkles under my eyes. "But I haven't been a boy for a long time, and I don't look at you like a mother. But to understand why the devil of Chicago was on his knees for his maid, you have to go back to the winter the heating broke. I shouldn't have been working at the Rossi mansion. I was 65 years old. My knees ached when it rained, and my hands were stiff with arthritis. But I told myself I was doing it for the money. That was the lie I told the mirror every morning while I put on my grey uniform. I just need to pay the bills, I'd say. But the truth? The truth was a ghost named Marcus. My son, Marcus, had died 20 years ago in a street fight. He was a good boy who ran with bad crowds. And the boy he died saving? That was Salvatore Rossi. Back then, Sal was just a scrawny kid with holes in his sneakers who sat at my kitchen table eating spaghetti because his own father forgot to feed him. Now, Sal was the king, and I was the help. I scrubbed his floors to feel close to the last person who remembered my son's laugh. It was a sickness, I knew that. Sal made it easy to hate him, though. He was cruel. He barked orders at his bodyguards, broke phones when deals went bad, and brought a chill into every room he entered. But he never yelled at me. In fact, he barely looked at me. Or so I thought. It started with the coffee. Every morning at 6 a.m., I brought a silver tray to his study. He would be sitting there, still wearing yesterday's suit, rubbing his temples. "Your coffee, Mr. Rossi," I'd say, keeping my eyes on the floor. "Leave it, Elena," he'd grunt. But one morning, I tripped. The rug caught my heel, and the hot coffee splashed over the edge of the cup, burning my hand. I hissed in pain. Before the cup even hit the desk, Sal was there. He moved faster than a man that size should move. He grabbed my wrist, not rough, but firm. "Let me see," he demanded. "It's fine, sir. I'm clumsy. I'm getting old." I pulled back, embarrassed. He didn't let go. He pulled a silk handkerchief from his pocket, blue silk, worth more than my monthly rent, and dipped it in the ice water pitcher on his desk. He wrapped my hand with a tenderness that made my stomach flip. "You aren't old, Elena," he said quietly, his eyes focused on my burnt skin. You're tired. There is a difference. He looked up then. For the first time in 20 years, the boss looked at the maid. And for a split second, I didn't see the gangster. I saw the 16-year-old boy who used to beg me for seconds of lasagna. But then his eyes shifted. They went darker. He looked at my mouth, then my neck. The air shifted. This wasn't a boy looking at his friend's mom. This was a man looking at a woman. I yanked my hand away, my heart hammering a warning against my ribs. "Run," it said. "He is a monster." "I have work to do, sir," I stammered. "Sal," he corrected me. His voice was low, smooth. "When we are in this room, Elena, it's Sal." I fled the room, but I could feel his eyes on my back, burning. That was the moment I should have quit. That was the moment I should have packed my bags and never looked back. But I couldn't, because that night, as I lay in my narrow bed in the servants' quarters, I touched the spot on my wrist where he had held me, and God help me, I didn't feel fear. I felt alive. The question is, can you ever truly forgive the man who survived, when your own son didn't? Or is loving him the ultimate betrayal? The mansion was always cold, but that night, the silence felt heavy. I was passing Sal's bedroom door when I heard it. A scream, not a shout of anger. Sal did that plenty. But a scream of pure, terrified panic. I didn't think. I didn't remember that I was just the maid. I pushed the door open. Sal was thrashing in his sheets, sweat soaking through his t-shirt. "Marcus, get down," he shouted. "Don't do it." He was dreaming of the day my son died, the day my son took a bullet for him. I sat on the edge of the bed. "Sal," I whispered, reaching out to shake his shoulder. "Wake up. You're safe." He gasped, his eyes flying open. He was disoriented, wild. He saw me, but I don't think he knew where he was. In one violent motion, he sat up and grabbed me. His hands didn't go to my wrists this time. His large, heavy hands clamped onto my waist, pulling me down until my face was inches from his. I could feel the heat radiating off his chest. "Elena," he breathed, his voice broken. "I'm here, Sal. It was just a dream. Let go." I tried to pull back, but his grip on my waist tightened. He wasn't hurting me, but he was anchoring himself to me. "No," he growled, the sleep clearing from his eyes. The vulnerability vanished, replaced by that dark, intense hunger I had seen in the study. If I let go, the ghosts come back. My heart was hammering against my ribs. This was wrong. I was 65. I was his best friend's mother. But his thumbs were pressing into my hips, and for the first time in 20 years, I didn't feel like a grieving mother. I felt like a woman. "You can't hold me like this," I whispered, my voice betraying me. "I'm old enough to be your—" "Don't," he cut me off, leaning his forehead against mine. "Don't say you're my mother. A mother doesn't make a man feel like he's burning alive." The air in the room shifted. The employer-employee lie was dead, but there was still one lie left. He pulled back slightly, just enough to look me in the eyes. In the movement, his t-shirt rode up. I saw it on his ribs, a tattoo. It was a specific prayer, the exact same prayer my Marcus had tattooed over his heart. I froze. "You have his mark," I said, my voice shaking. "You kept me here to pay off Marcus's debt, but you wear his prayer on your skin?" Sal laughed, but it was a bitter, broken sound. He finally let go of my waist and sat back, running a hand through his hair. "There never was a debt, Elena." The world stopped. "What?" "Marcus didn't owe the mob money," Sal said, staring at the floor. "He didn't die owing me. He died saving me. And before he bled out on that pavement, He made me promise one thing. He looked up at me, tears swimming in his hard eyes. He told me, "Take care of my mama, don't let her be lonely." I felt like I'd been slapped. You hired me out of pity? I've been scrubbing your floors for 10 years, thinking I was buying my son's freedom, and it was just charity? No! Sal stood up, towering over me. It started as a promise to him, but that changed a long time ago. He stepped closer, backing me toward the dresser. "I didn't keep you here for Marcus. I kept you here because I couldn't breathe in this house without you. I lied about the debt because I knew you were too proud to take my money. I used your son's memory to trap you here because I was too selfish to let you go." The betrayal washed over me. He hadn't just been my boss. He had been my jailer. He had used my grief to keep me as his pet. "You monster!" I sobbed, backing away from him. I needed to get away. I turned blindly, my hands shaking, reaching for anything to steady myself. My hand hit the cold porcelain of the antique urn on the dresser, the one holding his father's ashes. Crash! The sound was like a gunshot. The urn shattered. Grey ash exploded across the rug. Silence. We both froze. The secret was out. The tension had snapped. And now, the most precious object in his house lay destroyed at my feet. I backed against the door, the reality of what I had done, and what he had just confessed, crashing down on me. He looked at the ash, then he looked at me, and we are back where we started. The question is, when a man reveals he trapped you out of love, do you run for your life? Or do you realize that you've been trapped in that cage with him because you wanted to be there too? And that brings us back to that frozen moment in the master bedroom. The ash of his father lay scattered on the rug between us. The gold rings, the symbols of his power and his violence, lay discarded on the floor. I stood there, trembling, waiting for the monster to emerge. But the monster never came. Sal didn't look at the shattered urn. He didn't look at the mess. He only looked at me. His bare hand cupped my cheek, his thumb brushing away a tear I didn't know had fallen. "I can buy a new vase, Elena," he whispered, his voice cracking with a raw vulnerability I had never heard before. "But I cannot buy another 20 years with you." This was the moment, the third option. I could have run. I could have taken my freedom and fled the house of the man who lived by the gun. Or he could have exerted his power, forced me to stay, and continued the lie. But he did something else. He reached into his pocket, not for a weapon, but for a set of keys. He pressed them into my hand. "The gate is open," he said, stepping back. "The guards are gone. You don't owe me, Elena. You never did. I was the one in debt. I owed you a life for the son you gave me. If you want to go, go. You are free." He turned his back to me, waiting for the sound of the door closing, waiting to be alone with his ghosts. I looked at the keys in my hand. Then I looked at the man. I saw the broad shoulders that carried the weight of a criminal empire just to keep a promise to a dead friend. I realized that if I walked out that door, the boy my son saved would truly die. I didn't open the door. I dropped the keys on the floor. Clink. Right next to his rings. Sal turned around, his eyes wide. "Marcus didn't die so you could be alone, Salvatore," I said, stepping over the broken porcelain to stand right in front of him. I took his bare, scarred hand in mine. "And he didn't die, so I could run away from the only family I have left. I didn't choose the job. I didn't choose the escape. I chose him." 1 year later, the iron gates of the Rossi mansion are still there, but they aren't locked anymore. The guards with guns are gone. If you walk past the estate on a Tuesday afternoon, you won't hear the silence of a crime boss's fortress. You'll hear laughter. We turn the East Wing into the Marcus Robinson Youth Center. We teach kids from the neighborhood how to box, how to read, and how to stay off the streets that took my son. Sal doesn't wear the rings anymore. He sold them to pay for the library. And in the evenings, there are no maids in the kitchen. There is just Sal and me. We cook dinner together. He chops the garlic. I stir the sauce. We are an odd pair, the older woman and the reformed gangster, the mother and the son's best friend. Some people whisper. They say it's strange. They say we don't make sense. But when he looks at me across the table, I don't see the age difference. And I don't see the past. I see two broken people who use their jagged edges to hold each other together. This story teaches us that sometimes the person you are most afraid of is the only one who truly understands your pain. So I have to ask you, is there someone in your life you've judged too harshly? Someone who might be waiting for you to drop the keys and just stay? Let me know in the comments below.